Well, hey everybody, welcome back. That time of the week again. Week 5, I believe, of my power rankings, and had definitely some very interesting moves this week for sure, and some teams had some big moves. Few teams stay the same. Some kind of went up or down, maybe a couple spots. But yeah, there's definitely some surprising teams. So with that said, starting out, I'm gonna move this up a little bit here. There we go. Starting out at number 32. Now, this was definitely a little bit of a surprise. Now, even though they did win tonight, it doesn't discount the fact that with their week combined with the team that had been stapled into 32nd basically all year, number 32 this week, wow, the Edmonton Oilers. They are the epitome of a mess right now. I mean, yes, they beat Seattle tonight, but they lost to San Jose. They lost to San Jose. And with that loss, that knocked them down to 32nd. Now again, even though they did win tonight, they just they went 1-2 on the week. They won one straight because they won tonight, but they're 2-7-1 in the last 10 games, and I can't ignore that. And the fact that they lost to San Jose, I can't ignore that. I can't justify having them higher right now. Right now, the Edmonton Oilers, a team that I thought was going to be a cup contender, they right now are number 32. Number 31, moving up one spot, because they actually finished above 500 this week. They went 2-1 on the week. The team that was stapled in 32nd is San Jose. San Jose is number 31. Now, they actually had a 2-game win streak. They beat the Oilers, then they beat the Flyers, and then of course they lost to Vegas. And it's just, even though the Oilers won tonight, but the Sharks lost their last game, the fact that they lost to them, San Jose to me, just for this week at least, they moved out of the cellar. So San Jose is number 31. Number 30, also moving up one spot. Now they went 1-1-1 on the week. They have a current 1-game losing streak. They also went 2-7-1 in the last 10. Calgary. So Calgary number 30. That moved them up one spot. And I couldn't quite justify having San Jose pass Calgary. I couldn't. I couldn't do it. Even though the Flames are not that great right now either, San Jose at least got out of the cellar. So, but I couldn't justify them ahead of Calgary. So Calgary's number 30. And of course, they've got some big time issues. They've got a couple guys that have requested a trade that want out of there, so out of Calgary. So we'll have to wait and see what happens with that. But yeah, Calgary right now, number 30. Number 29, moving down 2 spots. They did not have a great week. They're 4-6 in the last 10, but they lost all 3 games this week. Nashville. So Nashville is number 29. They dropped 2 spots. And the reason they didn't drop further is because, well, I mean, hello. Look who's below them. If either of these teams would have had somewhat of a decent week, at least, Calgary or even San Jose, Nashville might have been down here. Might have been. But as of right now, it's Nashville, not a good week. They're on a 3-game losing streak. And yeah, they're number 29. Number 28, moving up 1 spot. Even though they didn't have the greatest week either, they didn't win a game at all this year. But they moved up 1 spot just because of the fact that, Nashville did even worse. Columbus. So the Blue Jackets, they move up 1 spot, but it's nothing that they did. They didn't do anything on their own to move up that 1 spot. It's just the fact that these other teams, well, I mean, you've got these 3 teams that have been stapled in 32, 31, and 30. And then, Nashville just had a worse week than Columbus did. So that's why Columbus moved up a spot to 28. Number 27, moving down 1. And they have not had a great week either. They went 1-2 on the week. They're 3-5-2 in the last 10, and they've lost 2 straight. And man, they just keep getting lower and lower. Minnesota. They're my hometown team. I don't like seeing what's going on with them right now. This is not great. They made a couple of trades here this past week, so I mean we'll see what that does. But wow, the Wild are I mean honestly with the way they've been playing. Again, only reason they're not lower is because these teams have been just abysmal. So the Wild right now sitting at number 27, and that was down 1 spot. Number 26. Now they moved up 2 spots. And they only played 2 games this last week, but they went 1-1. But again, they moved up because some of these teams did so bad, and that's Chicago. So the Hawks, the Chicago Blackhawks, they're at 26. Connor Bedard seems to be coming into form now. He's starting to heat up now. He kind of got off to a slow start, like he was kind of getting his footing, and now he's starting to move. And oh boy, look out for those boys. Once Bedard starts really getting that offense going, watch out for the Hawks. So yeah, Chicago moved up 2 spots to number 26. Number 25, dropping 1. And they didn't have that great of a week. They went 1-1-1. They're 4-4-2 in the last 10, and they're on a current 1-loss win streak. Seattle. So the Kraken, they're one of those teams. They look decent, then they don't. They look decent, then they don't. You're just not quite sure what you're getting with the Kraken. And again, they went 4-4-2 in the last 10 games, and they're just you don't know. And again, moving down 1 spot, it's that's there they are back into that bottom row. Number 24, also moving down. They moved down 2 spots. And they didn't have, they had a decent week. I mean, They went 2-1, but they're 4-6 in the last 10. Ottawa. So the Senators are number 24, and they were a team that was looking like they could be, on the rise. But then, they didn't do that. They didn't end up doing that hot. And so, it knocks them down, 2 spots into 24, and it's, just kind of like, But, hopefully they can kind of get that turned around, and, hopefully they can, be a little further, maybe be a little further up in the, in that third column. So, yeah, Ottawa is number 24. Number 23, dropping one of the bigger drops. They dropped 9 spots. They did not have a good week. They have gone 3-5-2 in the last 10 games. And they didn't win a game all week. They went 0-3. They're on a 3-game losing streak. And it's the New York Islanders. What in the world happened to the Islanders? I mean, they dropped 9 spots. 9! And it's just, it's something you don't exactly think about, or you're like, geez, really? Dropping 9 spots? But yeah, the Islanders, they went 0-3 this past week, and it was not good. Not a good week for the Islanders. So, dropping 9 spots, just, hopefully they can kind of turn that around. So the Islanders are 23. Now, number 22, another big drop. These guys also dropped 9 spots. And they went 1-2-1 on the week. They're 4-3-3 in the last 10, and they've lost 2 in a row. Tampa. So the Lightning were looking like a team that was starting to come around. They're trying to get through the end of the month, or at least until Thanksgiving, or American Thanksgiving, for when Vasilevsky comes back, because that's when he is supposedly supposed to come back. So, Vasilevsky, they're trying to get through until he's able to come back. And it's not like they're doing horrible. They're not horrible, but they're not that great right now. 4-3-3 in the last 10. They've lost 2 straight. And yeah, like the Islanders, they dropped 9 spots. Oofta. We'll see what kind of record they have when Vasilevsky comes back, but oofta. Dropping down to 22nd. Yoy. So number 21. Now these guys had a drop too. They dropped 6 spots. They did not have the greatest week either. They went 1-2. They went 1-2 this week. They've gone 6-4 in the last 10, but they've lost 2 straight, and that's the Anaheim Ducks. So the Ducks were looking like they were a team that, could potentially be a staple in that second row. Not right now. So they've dropped back down, dropped back down 6 spots into 21, and hopefully they can kind of get that turned around. Again, they went 1-2 on the week. They're still above 500 in the last 10, but losers of 2 straight, doesn't equate for a lot of confidence. So Anaheim is number 21. Number 20, another team that dropped 2 spots. And again, they didn't have a bad week. They went 2-1, and they won 2 straight. But they dropped 2 spots because just some teams passed them. St. Louis, the St. Louis Blues. So the Blues, of course, the Blues are getting, they're kind of getting. I mean, I don't want to say they're getting hot, but they're looking better. They've won 2 straight, so I mean they're not horrible, they're not bad. But again, they dropped because other teams just passed them, and so another not just other teams passing them. Some teams that were way ahead of them dropped big time, but I couldn't justify them, going, dropping even further than they already had for St. Louis to get up. So, St. Louis right now, number 20. Number 19. Now, they stay in the same spot. They went 1-1-1 this week. They're 5-4-1 in the last 10. And it's the Sabres. So, Buffalo, again, staying in the same spot at number 19, which honestly, if I look back here at my little things here, the Sabres were 19 last week. So what were they in week 3? Week 3, the Sabres were... the Sabres were number 27 in week 3. So, I mean, they moved up pretty substantially between week 3 and week 4. And now here in week 4 to week 5, they stay in the same spot at 19. And again, the Sabres are just one of those teams that are like, I mean, they lost, they lost tonight. And, 5-4-1 in the last 10. So, I mean, even they're kind of like, So that's why I kept them at number 19. Number 18. Now, this is one of those where I could have maybe moved them past Buffalo, but again, that would have been an even bigger drop, because these guys dropped 8 spots. 8 spots. They went 1-2 this week. They've lost 2 in a row, and it's New Jersey. So the Devils who were up here last week are now number 18. Dropped 8 spots. Oofta. And again, this is a team that I think a lot of people had favored to either go to the finals, or I'm not sure if I necessarily had them going to the finals this year, but I had them being a team that could be a team to be reckoned with in the next couple of years. But yeah, to see them at 18 right now, oof. They kind of got to get that turned around. Number 17. Now these guys moved up 3 spots. And they haven't done so bad. I mean, they're 2-1. They went 2-1 on the week. They're 6-2-2 in the last 10. And again, moving up 3 spots, not bad. Winnipeg. So the Jets are kind of, again, they're another one of those teams you don't know what you're gonna get. From one game to the next, they're just kind of, I don't know. I don't know about Winnipeg. I really don't. But, with some of these other teams not doing the greatest, it just happened that moved them up. So the Jets are number 17. So getting into the top half of the board at number 16, moving up 5 spots. Now they had a pretty decent week. They went 2-0-1 on the week. They're winners of 2 in a row, 6-2-2 in the last 10. It's the Capitals. So it's good to see the Capitals kind of, making some moves up the board. That's good to see. And yeah, I mean, moving up 5 spots, that's a really, really good thing for them. Really good to see out of them. And even though Ovechkin is he's still not really scoring, the Capitals they're getting better. They are getting better, and hopefully, maybe we can, see them just continue to go up the board. That would be kind of cool. Number 15, jumping 8 spots. Another team that had a pretty good week. Even though the last 10, they're not great. They're 4-6 in the last 10, but they were 2-1-0 this week. Winners of 2 in a row. Philadelphia. So the Flyers looking decent. Definitely looking better. And again, this is another one of those teams. What do you get from them from one game to the next? I don't know. They're a very hard team to judge. You just don't know what you're going to get from these guys from one game to the next. And again, they move up 8 spots because they had some other. Again, we had some other teams that made some pretty big moves. They did their part. They're on a 2-game win streak and moved them up to 15. Now number 14. Now this is one reason why I'm wearing these guys. They moved up 11 spots because they went. Where are they at? There you go. They won all 3 games this week. They went 3-0-0. They're winners of 4 in a row. Pittsburgh. So this is good to see the Penguins kind of on a move here. Definitely very nice. And yeah, going undefeated and being winners of 4 in a row, yeah, I think it's a definite deserved bump up the board. 11 spots, pretty darn good. And honestly, even looking at the standings and stuff like that, I honestly thought about moving them up even further. But I thought, I didn't want to go too crazy. But so I think kind of having them right in the middle of the pack right now, it's a good spot for them, I think. So, hopefully they can kind of keep this going and, maybe 14, maybe ends up being the lowest they could be for the rest of the season. Who knows? But right now, they moved up 11 spots to number 14. Number 13, another team that moved up 4 spots. And again, this is a team. They're 5-4-1 in the last 10. They went 2-1 this week, but they've won 2 in a row. Montreal. So the Habs, again, this is a team that is just it's so hard to judge. What are you getting from this team from one game to the next? Who are they? What are they? I don't know. But again, moving them up the board, and again, having a decent week kind of helped. And so we'll see what the Habs can do from here. But right now, number 13, not too bad. And yeah, that was up 4 spots. Number 12, moving down 1. Now these guys moved down 1. Not necessarily because they had a bad week. They went 2-1 on the week. They're 5-4-1 in the last 10. And they're on a 1-game winning streak. Arizona. So the Coyotes, again, not bad. They only moved down. They only ended up moving down 1 spot. And I actually thought about having them a little bit higher than the team that is above them. But I kept thinking, I'm like, nah, who would I trust more to, have a little better run? That's why I didn't have them higher than the team that's ahead of them. So, it's still they drop one spot, but they're still in the top half. Top half of the board in mid-November. Not bad for the Coyotes. Number 11, dropping 4 spots. These guys, I don't know. They got blitzed tonight by St. Louis. They're 5-5 in the last 10. They've lost 2 in a row. They went 1-2 on the week. Colorado. So the Avalanche. I don't know. I don't know what's going on with them right now either. And this is why I thought, could I justify moving Arizona up further, or not necessarily moving Arizona up, but knocking Colorado down even further, where Arizona would be ahead of them? I couldn't do it. I'm sorry. I trust Colorado to come out of this this little funk that they're in. I kind of trust them a little better than Arizona, but yeah, Colorado right now they got some stuff to figure out, and going 5-5 in the last 10 and losing 2 in a row, oofta. So yeah, dropped them. That ended up dropping them 4 spots. So they're number 11. Number 10. Now you want to talk about a team that is they're up, they're down, then they're back up again, down, and back up again. Moving up 6 spots. They had a pretty decent week. They went 3-1 on the week. They are 5-3-2 in the last 10, and they've won 2 in a row, and that's the Toronto Maple Leafs. So the Leafs, of course, coming off a big win tonight. Big win for them over the Vancouver Canucks. Which, by the way, you don't see Vancouver up here yet. Vancouver's not up here yet. Good win for the Canucks. Good win for the Leafs over the Canucks. And it kind of gets them out of this little funk that they've been in too. They're again a team that we don't know what they are. And again, it's just this is a team that could very easily be up here, but has been down here. So I don't know what we're necessarily getting out of the Leafs, but right now they're number 10, and it bumped them up 6 spots, and we'll see where they can go from there. Number 9, moving down 1 spot, and again, not a bad week. They went 1-1-1. They're 4-4-2 in the last 10, and they won their last game. Detroit. So the Red Wings, not quite in the top row, but again, they're not bad. They only dropped 1 spot, and so we'll see what they can do. But again, it's good to see that they're hanging in there. They're not down here. They haven't had these big fluctuations here. And, only dropping 1 spot, it's not bad. So, it dropped them out of the top row for 1 week. We'll see if they have a good week next week, if they end up right back in the top row. Number 8, moving up 1 spot. These guys didn't have a bad week. They went 2-1 on the week. They're 6-4 in the last 10, and they won their last game. And it's Carolina. So the Hurricanes, they are again another one of those teams. You're just what are they? They're another one of those teams you expected to be right toward the top of the standings, but yet they're up, they're down, they're up, they're down. And right now, they moved back into the top row, moved into the number 8 spot, and that's a bump of 1 spot, and we'll see if they can continue that trend here this next week. Number 7, moving up 6 spots. Now, these guys had a pretty good week. They had a really good week. They won all 3 games this week. They went 3-0-0. They are 7-2-1 in the last 10. Winners of course, 3 straight. Florida. So this is good to see. This is good to see. It's good to see the Florida Panthers back up in the top row. Moved them up 6 spots. So, definitely good to see. And, the Florida Panthers are a team that I think, I don't see why they can't maintain top row. They've got a heck of a team. And, we'll see if they can keep this little run going. Like I said, winners of 3 straight. They won all 3 of their games this week. And yeah, so we'll see what they can do. But moved up 6 spots to number 7. Number 6, staying in the same spot. Even though they went 2-1 on the week, they've won 2 in a row, but they stayed in the same spot. Dallas. So the Stars, again, they had a good week. But the teams ahead of them, I think either had, equally good weeks, or you had a couple of teams. You had a couple of teams struggle. Well, you had really one team struggle this past week out of that first row, and but I could not justify dropping that team below Dallas. So that's why Dallas stays where they are. And, and again, Dallas, winners of 2 straight. We'll see if they can move up. We'll see if they can move up the board after, come next week. Number 5, again, staying in the same spot. They went 1-1-1. They lost their last game, but they're still 6-2-2 in the last 10, and that's LA. So the Kings stay at number 5, and I think it's a good spot for them. I definitely think it's a good spot for them. Now, if they would have had a little bit better week, even if they could have won the last game that they played, if they could have won the last game they played, they might have moved up to there. They might have ended up dropping the team that is there. They might have dropped them to there. But they lost that last game, so I couldn't put them above the team that is number 4. Now, granted, the team that is number 4, they didn't have that great of a week. They went 1-2 during the week. They went 7. Even though they went 7-2-1 in the last 10 games, back-to-back regulation losses. And honestly, the game that they won tonight was against San Jose, which might have been another reason why, if LA would have won their last game, these guys might have been number 5. But as of right now, Vegas, dropping 3 spots, is number 4. So the Knights, now some people will probably say, how could you drop the Knights? The Knights were number 1 all this time. How can you drop them 3 spots like that? Well, when you lose back-to-back games in regulation this past week, that's kind of how. And the fact that they lost back-to-back games in regulation, and the fact that the teams above them had really good weeks, that's kind of how they drop. And again, if LA could have won that last game that I think was tonight, LA might have been number 4 and Vegas might have been number 5. But it didn't work out that way. So right now, Vegas is currently number 4. The defending champions, number 4. Number 3. Even though these guys did not have a great result tonight, they kind of wet the bed a little bit against Toronto. But still, to see them where they are is incredible. They went 2-1 on the week. They're 8-1-1 in the last 10 games. And to see them in the middle part of November this high, incredible. Vancouver. The Vancouver Canucks. Now, again, this is a team, if they could have beaten Toronto, they might have been here. If they could have beaten Toronto, they might have been right here. But the fact that they are even in this spot right now is amazing. It's amazing to see. And I really, really hope they can keep it going. Because this is fun to watch. This is fun to watch for them. And like I said, I really hope they can keep this going. And I mean, still, they've won 8 of the last 10 games they played. So, hopefully they can keep it going. But yeah, I mean, number 3, Vancouver Canucks, number 3. What's going on here? Number 2. These guys had a good week. They went 2-0 this week. Winners of 2 in a row. And I believe they had won like 5 in a row before finally losing one. And there was a point where these guys, I believe I had them number 1 for like a day. New York Rangers. So the Rangers at number 2. They're on fire right now. So I mean that moved them up 1 spot. Vancouver moved up 1 spot. And again, the Rangers they're looking good. They're leaders in the Metro. They're an incredible team right now. They are looking absolutely fantastic. And we'll see if they can keep it going. And we'll see if maybe at some point they can overtake this team at number 1. Number 1, of course, the only team that's not on the board yet, number 1. They went 2-0-1 this past week. 7-1-2 in the last 10. Boston. So the Boston Bruins. I didn't really think they'd be where they are. I mean, number 1. I mean, they've had an incredible run. Now they lost tonight. They lost in, was it a shootout? It was either overtime or a shootout. They lost to Montreal. Now, of course, Montreal is a team that is up and coming, and Boston and Montreal always play themselves tough. And yeah, it was in overtime. Montreal won in overtime. But the Bruins still, that team, that's an incredible team. They are fantastic. And I think they are highly justified to be number 1. And again, they are 11-1-2 on the season. 24 points. Just an incredible, just for a team that a team that was supposed to drop off. An awfully familiar spot here. Sitting number 1. And good for the Boston Bruins. So that is the power rankings for this week, week 5. Again, I'm pretty sure there are people that will probably go and jump all the way to the end to see who number 1 is, instead of watching the whole thing through and wondering why, especially if they wonder, why is my team here? Did you watch the whole did you watch the whole thing and know why that they're there? No, I just don't know why my team's there. Well, if you would, that's why it's important to watch the whole thing. Because there's a reason why the team is there. So, let me know what you guys think. And yeah, week 5. I think we've definitely had some movers, had some shakers, had some big time drops, and but it does kind of seem like some of these are getting a little more stable. So we'll see as the weeks progress. But let me know what you guys think. Who do you guys think should be number 1? And who do you think should be where? And and why do you think that I'm wrong about the top 5 or 6 teams? Let me know what you guys think in the comments section. If you like the video, it would be awesome and very, very awesome and greatly appreciated if you hit that like button. If you really like the video, again, greatly appreciated if you would hit that subscribe button. And if you want to be notified anytime future videos of mine are uploaded, you can tap the little bell icon and it will notify you anytime one of my videos goes live. And again, week 5 of my power rankings, and again, I'm definitely enjoying doing this. And again, no idea what Shannon's power rankings are, because I never really get a chance to watch his until Sunday night when I go to work. So nobody can say you're copying Shannon. I have no idea who he has ranked where. So I will not know any of that until I go to work tomorrow night. So again, let me know what you guys think. Let me know why you think I'm completely off my rocker for having Vegas at number 4. And yeah. So again, let me know what you guys think. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and I will see you guys later.